Hi, and welcome to March. March is an interesting month because we take this month and we study the history of ancient Israel. Now, Israel is an interesting nation. They came up to the time of the judges. They didn't have a king. Joshua died, and we saw that, we read that. And now they say, we want a king, Samuel. We want a king. Samuel is the 13th judge of Israel, and they are demanding a king like the other nations around them. Now, this is fascinating because back in the Mosaic laws, Deuteronomy chapter 17 to be exact, God says to Moses, when the people want a king, there's a few things I need you to do. I need you to make sure the king doesn't multiply wives, doesn't multiply gold and silver. And he does this. He writes a copy of the book of the law every single day. And he writes that copy through, not every day the whole copy, but he writes the whole copy through a course of a year, and then the Levites check it. And so this is a fascinating prophecy about kings to come in ancient Israel. Now, we've studied about Saul and we've studied about David, and there are two exact opposites. Saul is the beautiful king of the people, and David is the king that God chose. But I need you to recognize that Saul and David both make mistakes. The difference is God loves David because David's heart is for him. And this is fascinating. So we get to see this part of David that is unusual for a king. And we've seen Saul. And so we're going to study King David and the kings that come after him. And the nation splits apart. Solomon comes after David, and then Rehoboam is Solomon's son, who is king, and he says, I'm going to make it harder on you and tax you more. And the nation split in two. This is fascinating. So the historical books this month are very important for us to read for the exile. All of the kings at the end of it, they all fail, and the nations go into exile. And during this 70 years of exile, God deals with them, and then Ezra brings them back. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Right now, we need to study the look at the history of Israel. This is amazing. So I want to encourage you to study with us and make sure you understand this is how we're setting up the time of the exile, which will set up the time of Messiah. So let's study on now about the history of Israel.